we really chose Canada so that both of our careers could flourish.
Welcome to another episode of the Canadian Dream Podcast. I'm here with another successful immigrant. This time, Shreeya is going to share with us a little bit of her journey coming from Nepal to Canada. Hi, Shreeya.
Hi, Alton. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's the first time that I actually see you in person. You have been playing a very important role in the lives of many other immigrants in Canada as a mentor. We're going to talk about that in just a bit.
Yep.
But before, let's start with you introducing yourself and sharing a little bit about your journey before coming to Canada.
Sure.
Where were you born and how was your childhood?
I was born in Kathmandu, Nepal. There were a lot of challenges while I was growing up, having to develop a stutter, and then also kind of like, thankfully, I did not get bullied a lot because at that time I sort of channeled my energy towards being a good student, and I would always be top of the class.
Do you have siblings?
I do. So I have one elder sister.
What values did your mom teach you as a child?
Yeah, the biggest value that she taught us was to be kind.
As a child, did you ever imagine that you would end up somewhere outside of Nepal? Or when did you start picturing yourself living abroad?
Yeah, actually, when I was growing up, I do is remember because Kathmandu is a valley, right? So it's there's like hills all around, and I always used to wonder, what's beyond those hills. Yeah, that's something that I always remember.
So you went to Thailand to get your MBA, and you also worked there part-time or after your MBA?
After my MBA.
Okay, so after you got your MBA, 2 years, you worked in Thailand for how long?
For almost 4 years.
4 years. Were you married then? Did you have a boyfriend?
I was married. We got married in 2012, and
so you moved together to Thailand?
Moved together to Thailand.
So he was there with you the entire time?
No.
Okay. So you were in Thailand, and your husband was in Nepal when you both decided to come to Canada. What was your dream before you came to Canada?
One of the reasons that we really chose Canada was so that both of our careers could flourish, right? So when we were in Bangkok, it was very hard for my husband to find a job because of the language barrier. And so we were looking at a country where it's English and where both of our skills and talents would have an opportunity to flourish.
And how did you plan your move to Canada? Did you apply for a visa first? How long did you have to wait? Did you get a job before you came over?
So we applied through the Express Entry program. So it took almost a year to kind of get all the paperwork in. And so we came in with the permanent as a residency, and so looked for a job after that.
How easy or how difficult was it from the very beginning?
I landed right in the middle of the pandemic, right? So it was hard. It was definitely hard. So my husband moved in 2018. April is 2018, when it was different.
So he came before you.
Yeah. So he was here since 2018. So his journey and my journey is like very different. So not talking about him. So when he moved, so he joined a program to kind of like gain the local Canadian knowledge and experience, and I joined him in November 2020, where things were still closed. So it was a much different scenario for me, and then the whole world. So at that time, when I moved to BC, I actually knew nobody here. So there was just one person, my husband's high school friend, so that I knew. But we didn't really meet a lot because at that time, so we were not even vaccinated, right? So it was a very isolating feeling at that time. And even get information about how to start life in Canada was hard. And I'd also moved to BC to tap into as one of my friends' network, and then They would also not meet for coffee chats or anything. But
And you were telling me before that when you were coming to Canada, you also had to take care of your mom because she was pretty sick back in Nepal.
yeah, it was extremely hard. So even just as making that decision to buy the ticket to come to Canada was as one of the hardest decisions that I made, because at that time my mom was battling kidney failure, and then so it was getting very hard for her. But like for me, like you said, do I choose my past or my future, right? So I was also nearing this timelines that I had to come to Canada before December. Otherwise, I would lose my residency status as well. So it was a very hard decision that I had to make. And actually, after moving here, my mom actually passed away 2 weeks after I moved here. And then...
And you couldn't go back?
No, because it was still pandemic. And then I just moved. And then, the flights were not as easy to get even until that time.
For, I would say, everything in life, there's no perfect time. There's no perfect time. For example, we got the studio here. We were not ready for the studio. We were not ready to start filming. We're not ready to start the podcast. And many people are not ready to move. They're not ready to start looking for a job. They want to first finish their resumes and tweak their resume. No, and I always say, man, the best time is always now.
Correct.
Right? There will never be a perfect time.
Correct.
I wasn't ready when I proposed to my wife. My goodness, I wasn't. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't ready when we had our first child. But I wish I had him earlier.
Sure.
Yeah. So looking back, I think it was a great thing that you did, being so brave to choose the future.
Right.
And the present somehow. Right. Are you happy now?
Since 2023, I feel that I'm getting to a happier stage because... of course, 2021 was my hardest year because I lost my mom and then also moved here. And actually, when I first moved here, I had to join my husband in a very, very small town in the middle of nowhere, right in the Canadian wilderness.
Where was
it? It was a small town, very pretty town in between Toronto and Ottawa. So it's called Haliburton. So
how long did you live there for?
Well, he was there for 2 years. I was there just for 2 months. Yeah.
You had to escape.
I packed my bags, left him, and then moved to BC again.
You gave him an ultimatum. You either come to BC or we're done. What happened?
No.
Tell me how it was for you to find your first job and then the second job.
So my story is no different than others, right? So applied to hundreds and hundreds of companies, but like heard from is a very few, of course, right? So so
you apply to hundreds and you get only a few responses?
Correct.
And how many interviews?
I went through almost 30 interviews. Yeah.
With 30 different companies?
Yeah.
Wow.
30 different companies, and then some.
Before you found the first job?
Yeah. So it was challenging. I would not say that it was not. So it is as challenging. So some of them I did progress to the last round and just didn't get the offer and as whatnot. But yeah.
What made you keep going? Why didn't you just throw everything up in the air and decide to go back to Bangkok or to Kathmandu?
Yeah, I mean, like we've come this far, right? And then it's, I mean, especially for me, I've kind of like made such big sacrifice. I was not going to settle, and then I was not going to kind of like let rejections, to get a better hold of me, right? The other thing that also helped me to keep with all of the process was that it was equally hard for me to find my first job in Bangkok as well. So when I came in Canada, I had a clear expectation that it will take time, and so this is also something that I also mentor with everyone that I speak to, that things will not happen in 2 months. Like there are people crying in 2 months. Like things might not happen in 2 months, right?
So how long did it take you to get the first job?
So I got my first offer in like about 3 months. And I was just going into a negotiation, and that company actually withdrew their offer. I was like, oh man,
Wow.
I have to keep continuing it. And I got my second offer almost like 2 months after that, and I joined the company. And
So it took you 5 months,
yeah,
6 months to start working.
no more than that. So hear me out.
Okay, so
so
5 months you got the offer that you accepted. Okay,
Yeah.
and then
I joined the first tech company local here in Vancouver. And so things were not as looking so great. So I could feel that I still have to continue my job search. So I had to continue
continue to apply for other
to
opportunities.
apply for others.
So you were not happy with that company.
Yeah. So something was not clicking, right? And so I was connected with the VP of the previous company, which had withdrawn their offer, and through a volunteering work as that I was doing on the side, I'd reached out to this lady to kind of like for speaking engagement and all of that. And then she tells me, so do you want to interview again? And I was like, yes, I want to. So I went through a second round of interview.
But had they hired someone else?
They did hire somebody.
And they regret it.
I don't know about that.
Anyway, so they offered you the same job again.
Yeah,
for the second time.
Yeah.
How was the negotiation?
Oh yeah. That was fun. I was like, I'm not going to settle for less, right? And then so I felt that so during as a negotiating, there's a lot about as a give and take, right? So I felt that I could negotiate a little more.
Is this the company you're still working with?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
How long have you been working with them?
It's my second year with them.
Cool. You want to say hi to them?
But it's a fantastic company. So
what lessons did you learn from that job search that you are now able to share with new immigrants?
The first that we talk about a lot is as networking, right? So being an immigrant, in a new country, so nobody knows you, and nobody knows your background. So you have to tell your story as yourself, and you have to put yourself out there, and then you have to reach out to people, asking them for a coffee chat and all that. So if you're not comfortable doing that, then that's something that I really, really tell people that I meet, is that even I am a super introvert, right? So I don't like randomly, reach out, but it's a muscle that you have to build if you've chosen to kind of make this.
And what do you recommend for that kind of work? Volunteering or going to meetups? Anything else?
Volunteering, so LinkedIn, so telling your story through LinkedIn, even it's reaching out through LinkedIn, and definitely going into in-person events as now that things are a lot of events are happening, and then also it's joining your professional organizations, and also joining like Immigrant Networks as well, where we actually hold like a webinar every Wednesday to kind of share about our learning. So there's a different channels, and you just need to have that commitment to yourself, right?
I've known Nick Narani, the founder of Immigrant Networks, for I think 12 years.
Oh wow!
We had him on the podcast already. There's actually 2 episodes with him. But can you explain again for someone who missed that episode, what does Immigrant Networks do, and why do you still volunteer to help other people through that network?
Immigrant Network is a networking, peer-to-peer is a networking platform where if you sign up and then put all your professional details, it will actually match you with someone who's in a similar professional background, and you get to talk to that person firsthand. It's a one-on-one. It also sets up it's a meeting invite for both of you. So that's one thing, one big part of Immigrant Network, and giving that space where people can actually talk to each other about similar professional background. And second, that we run is so we also so when I joined, it was just starting, and I was one of the early adopters of the platform, where I would sign up for that match, that is a meeting like every week. right? And then so that now has to turn into ambassador program where people like myself, and then we have like almost like 20 people from like different countries who've gone through the same experience and then want to give back and then help people with like sharing our knowledge, our expertise, and it's all of that, right? So now we have that group of people who really want to help everybody because we've been through it and it's challenging. And
can you share an example with me? Someone that you were able to help recently that really impacted your life as a volunteer?
I'm actually trying to help somebody who has a severe stutter, and it's been very hard to land a job for him. So I'm fortunate that now I have this level of fluency that you can't even recognize it. But I'm actively working with somebody who has a very severe stutter and actually uses assistive as a technology like speech to text to communicate. And it's been very hard for him to land.
What kind of work does he do?
He's in finance. That's my active case. So that's and it's hard to be kind of a newcomer, and it's harder to be a newcomer with a kind of a disability as well, because I know even with my level of fluency, it did hit me hard during my job process that I went into a spiral that because of my stutter, which is like so fluent right now, right? Even I went into this mental spiral that I might not be able to land a job. This is also another area that I'm very interested in to kind of like talk about and then raise awareness or advocate for the disability kind of inclusion as part of as a D&I.
I know people say there's so many job opportunities in Canada. There's so many. Why is it still so difficult for many immigrants to find a job?
Well, that's a heavy question, right? There's different aspect to it. So I always say that it's on both sides, right? So of course, those people who are new to the country also need to learn how Canada works, how the local market works, and then to really need to kind of like adapt as themselves to how do you to tell your story,
how they present themselves, how they behave.
Yeah. What's your communication skill and all of that, all the sort of technical part of job search. And I guess so there's a lot of education that's also needed on the other side of the table as well for the like corporate sector as well to kind of like see the talent so that's there in newcomers as well. So I guess there's work as needed on both sides. And it's some of the things that I tell at least the people that I mentor with is like continue to share your story.
So basically, nobody will discover you. Nobody will come knock on your door and say, "Hi, who are you?
No.
What do you do?
No.
Are you looking for an opportunity?"
Yeah, no. So you have to put yourself out there.
How much do you think does self-esteem influence the success of a person, whether it's an immigrant or not? Mm-hmm. Believing that you can, believing that you are worth it.
No, absolutely. That's super important, right? So if you don't believe in yourself, then no one else will, right? So I think it's very important to believe in yourself, and I also strongly feel that to build your self-esteem, you need to stop comparing yourself with anybody else's journey. So just look into yourself to improve yourself. You are your competition is something that I like really kind of like live with. It's also the energy that you give out to the world that attracts opportunities or like things that you want to you as well. And definitely all of that ties with your self-esteem.
I asked this question to Nick Noorani. I want to know what you think about it. What are the, let's say, 3 biggest mistakes that you see immigrants doing when they come to Canada? Not specifically looking for a job, mm-hmm. but mistakes in general.
I would say the first one is trying to stick too much to your own ethnic group, right? Because so you have to meet people.
That's for our Irish cameraman here. Most of his friends are Irish. The other one from Brazil, he only has Brazilian friends. You know, he's saying no. Oh, he has an
Irish friend.
The Irish has a Brazilian friend. The Brazilian has an Irish friend now. Congratulations. No, I hear you. At the same time, it's very good to have that support group, right?
Yeah.
Because people from the same nationality, they will fill a huge gap that we come with.
Sure.
But I hear you. Avoid sticking to only that group. Okay. What would be the second mistake that you see immigrants doing?
I think the second mistake is not learning how to network early on. Even networking for me is a new skill that I learned in Canada. Right? You need to have this learner mindset to try out new things, right? So if you don't know how to network or like start a small talk or something, then just to put in that effort.
That's why it's called net work and not net fun.
Oh yeah, of course, of course, yeah. So
or net play, it's net work.
Yeah. So it's a work. It's a muscle that you build, and I think. You just need to be
another mistake,
not having that openness or appetite to learn the new way of life here, right? So that also ties with the first things, the second thing. So that I said that you need to have this as a learner, as a mindset all the time when you're moving to different countries. So
that's not easy because immigrants have to understand that when you move to another country, you have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And you have to reinvent yourself. Right. You were reborn sometime.
Right. Absolutely. And whenever you make a big transition, you actually shed your older version of yourself. And then, there's a lot of process that also happens. So you might be grieving your previous self as well, but like also it's an opportunity for you to learn and grow and expand. So for me as well, every time that I've moved to different countries, before Canada, right? So I actually discovered this new aspect of my own personality that I had not discovered before, right? So you need to have that open-mindedness to kind of like
for every door that you shut, there's another door that you will open.
Right. And then also the third mistake would be that.
Oh, the fourth mistake.
Yeah. The fourth would be the kind of like holding on to the past too much, kind of like this is how we did it, or this is how I did it back in my home country, and all of that, right? So you have to let go and then embrace the new.
So you've been here for almost 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
What is the new Shreeya like? What has changed in your life and your personality, Shreeya?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, this
talking,
yeah,
not stuttering.
Yeah, so not stuttering, talking a lot, talking in front of people a lot, and then just going into events and meeting people, and then just. So that's been that's very new.
That's a new thing in your life.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like talking with a lot of people is like a new thing.
I've always talked a lot. I was a reporter, a journalist before I even moved to Canada. So I've always enjoyed interviewing people and talking.
Yeah.
What dreams are you currently working on?
I'm a big believer in self-improvement. So the bigger dreams that I have as I build my life here in Canada is to build a holistic Shreeya who is not just focused on like my job, right? So I just want to have my volunteering work as part of the holistic Shreeya that I want to build, and then I also want to have fun, right? Explore a little bit of more creative side of me that I did not before, or did not get to do before.
Painting, acting, singing?
I'm actually taking a dance lesson.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, ready? Are you gonna show us?
Oh no, I can't.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that's my Canadian dream, is to be a holistic person who's kind of like giving energy to all aspects of life.
You want to build a more solid foundation
Right.
for your future in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like the most about Canada and Canadian society
Mm-hmm.
or your Canadian neighbors?
Yeah, I think definitely the niceness of people. It's just not in papers, right? So I do feel that on a daily basis whenever I interact with my neighbor, and also the kind of diversity as well. How well it's kind of like and respected in the society. Don't feel too foreign here, at the moment. So
Not Canadian yet?
what does being a Canadian mean to you?
Sometimes I am Canadian, sometimes I'm Brazilian, sometimes I'm German.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still have an Italian passport
Mm-hmm.
that I never use. But,
And which is the whole point, right? Because in this as a day and age where you and I, and then a lot of people have like moved so many countries, even for me, I've started to disassociate my identity with the geography. So I was born in Nepal, where I spent the majority of my life, but my happy place is Bangkok, and I feel more home in Bangkok than in Nepal, right?
Yeah.
and I'm here where I feel that I'm reinventing the whole Shreeya in me, right? So I like that part. So I think there's nothing like being a Canadian. We all are like global citizens, and then what's at the heart of that whole conversation is being kind and being empathetic to people.
And then let's have fun.
Yeah. Let's have fun. Things does not always need to be serious.
Before I let you go, what tips would you give to newcomers?
I would really suggest them to come with the right mindset and the right kind of expectation whenever you are moving to a new country, because things are going to be very different, and you need to come with a stronger sense of resilience as well, because things might not be what you expected. Things might not be as rosy as what you expected. So come with the right mindset that things might be different, things might be difficult, but at the same time, there are people who are there to help you out and then to give you support. And yeah, so lastly, just tying with that, don't hesitate to ask for help or support, because people might come in. So I was also in that same mindset initially, that I will do it. And I will kind of like, toughen myself and do it. But like, if there are times, when you feel that you need some help and support, it's okay to reach out to help and support. It's okay to kind of like have people help you as well.
And on that note, how can someone join this networking group that you volunteer for?
So we are at immigrantnetworks.com. So just log in there and then create your profile. And so we're also there in LinkedIn as well. So if you you can find me, you can find Nick Noorani, and all the other kind of ambassadors. So we're in all social media channels.
Great. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Shreeya.
Thank you, Elton, for this. It was a great conversation. So touched on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll chat more. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah.
And thank you guys at home or in your car or anywhere else, maybe jogging, for listening to this podcast or for watching it on YouTube. And if you are on YouTube, please remember to like this video, to share it, and especially to subscribe to our channel. Thank you again, and I'll see you on the next episode.